I think I'm finally gonna open Football Manager. I know it's really complicated, but it looks like a lot of fun. So we'll just go ahead and hit play. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who said that you had the time to devote to learning a game that looks this complicated? I mean, have you seen those spreadsheets, man? It's insane. There's no way you're gonna be able to figure all of this out. It's gonna take hours, maybe even days. It's probably not gonna be worth it. Hey, hi, I have a different idea. What if somebody made a set of videos called like FM for beginners or something that could teach you how to play the game and save you a lot of that time? Sorry, I'm going with him. Salutations. Welcome to Football Manager for beginners. I will be your instructor. Zealand. This is going to be a series of videos where I take somebody who's basically never actually played Football Manager before, which essentially would be me for a year and a half that was too afraid to figure out how to play it, and walk you through what the game is, what the different facets of the game are, how they work, and essentially how to play the game, up until we get to more advanced topics, in which case you can just start watching a lot of the other videos that come out on this channel, which I would recommend watching anyways, because they're typically either hopefully going to be informational or entertaining. So in this opening FM for beginners video, I'm going to walk you through what the game actually is, what you're able to do in the game, how to set the game up, and how the mechanics behind the game work so that you know what you are getting yourself involved in. And then we'll take a look at one or two things inside the game as well. As we go on with this series, I will get more specific into the different facets of the game. I will spare you the dramatic details, and we will mainly be talking about what things are used for and how the levers work, not necessarily which lever is the meta at the moment. You understand? We'll pick up where we left off in the intro, which is you've just come into the game for the first time. Now, this is going to look different for you if you actually are opening the game for the first time. You'll have the opportunity to create your manager. Would highly recommend using an actual picture. You have to go through a few steps, put some dots in your face to help the program actually figure out where your nose is and important information like that. If it doesn't matter to you, put the dots wherever you want. But it actually does give you some nice, fairly accurate results. I mean, look how similar I am to my little guy. Mom always said I knew how to smile. Then you are faced with this, at least on Football Manager 2021. The good thing about a video series like this is that Football Manager doesn't make wholesale changes to everything every year. So even if this is Football Manager 2031, there are going to be some similar tenets to the way that it was working in the past. So Football Manager, I'm going to pull up a Google Doc and I'll write this out. What is Football Manager, right? Football Manager is a management game. It is not FIFA. Okay. And there are some key differences here. One, it is not playable. You cannot actually play as the players in the game. You do everything a real manager does. The realism is tremendous. And obviously you would expect me to say that because I spend my life basically playing Football Manager. But the realism in Football Manager is what makes it so special, and that enough people care about it that I can spend my life playing Football Manager. You will not be able to play the games, and Football Manager does have what would be considered worse graphics than FIFA. But part of the reason for that is that FIFA actually enlarges the players. Well, part of the reason for that is that FIFA spends more than half its budget on graphics, right? Football Manager is not doing the same thing. But FIFA also has players larger than they actually are, where Miles Jacobson, the guy that makes Football Manager, he has said that he wants the game to feel like you're actually watching a match. So they're very focused on making sure the players are the right side compared to the field, and you've got all these different camera views that you can feel like you're really actually there. You can get down close to the touchline and just feel like you're watching an actual game. So there's key philosophical differences between the two games, which is why the jump is typically from FIFA to Football Manager, because you are the type of person that is looking for more of a challenge on the management side of things, player signings, tactics. You aren't trying to win Ultimate Team by playing, I don't know how, I haven't played FIFA in 5 years. You aren't trying to win Ultimate Team by playing like 30 matches every weekend, and you're not going to be on #United, okay? I think where they come together though, we delete all of this, is the story. I used to play career mode in FIFA obsessively. It's about the story. Football Manager is also about the story. I mean, there are people that always love tinkering. They love figuring out the best tactics. I mean, we just made a video about the FM-based tactic tester, which is like competitive tactic making essentially. But the story is what got me into the game in the first place, and scoring a 112th minute winner in the Champions League final with my only Scottish starter as Celtic, those sorts of things that just bring you in. And Football Manager does that so much better than FIFA. So welcome to the nuts and bolts of how Football Manager actually works. When you set up a game, you have a simplified menu, fortunately, starting in FM21, where you can start a new game. You can do fantasy draft, online career, create a club. That's stuff that I would recommend doing after you know how the game works, essentially after you watch FM for beginners. You're going to want to click career. And it's at this point where for the first time I got overwhelmed. Opening Football Manager, I was like, bro, there's so many buttons, bro. So many buttons. I didn't know what to do. But that's why I'm here. Zealand, that is why you were here. First, you have all of your different countries all over the world. You can pick a specific club to manage from this screen and then do a quick start. But I'm going to recommend that you do not do that ever, right? Go to advanced setup. It's down here in the bottom right corner. This should take just a second or two. And then you are going to see a screen that is magnitudes more overwhelming. What is happening here? Football Manager runs off of a database. Okay, so the database is all of the players in the leagues that are loaded into the game. So in FIFA, there's like, I don't know, 15, 20 leagues, right? In Football Manager, there are like 100 and change. Okay, the database of Football Manager has 392,000 players. I mean, that is every single player in this database. Every single one of them is scouted, given ratings, and put in the game somewhere. They are full internationals for some national team. They play in any league from the Belarusian second division to the third tier of Brazil to the second Chinese league to the second Finnish league, to the Hong Kong league. We're talking about every professional footballer or soccer player in the world is available to put in your database, but you're not going to want to do that ever. Now, I have an i7 8700 or something in this computer. It's a very, very good computer. If you're better than that, you might be able to run this. I don't want to run this because it will move too slow. So then what do you do while you're setting up your database? Well, you figure out, one, how fast you'd be comfortable with the game moving, because I said that I wouldn't want to run this. It would be too slow. I could run this. It would just load between days, too slow for my liking. On Twitch, did I mention it would be a save on Twitch? If you had a toaster, a sentient toaster, you would be able to run this database. It would just take 3 years to go between 2 days. So you have to figure out in your mind this kind of equation of how fast you want the game to go, and how much you're willing to give up to make it go that fast. So what do? Well, let's get rid of a bunch of nations so that I can see how many nations I'm deleting. I'm serious when I tell you there are a ton of leagues in the game, and I know that because if you click add remove leagues, these are all of the leagues. And so if I click Wales will pop up, and then this drop down, there's the Welsh second division. So you need to decide what type of save you're going to do. I know this can feel a little overwhelming, but once you get your brain around how the game is set up, which should happen in about 3 minutes, it will be okay, I promise. Do you want to be the coach of one team forever? Or do you want to have the opportunity to move around, which you can do? You can live out an actual managerial career, start in the lower leagues, continue to get jobs, and eventually get to Barcelona. You can do that. It's a ton of fun. I've done it before. It's called a journeyman, by the way. Welcome to the Football Manager community. And here's what I would advise you. If you want to move around, make every league playable that you would want to manage in or that you would consider managing in. But also, if you want to start as a really bad coach, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you just enjoy pain, you want to start as a bad coach with no coaching badges or playing experience, then make sure you have some leagues loaded that will actually give you jobs, because that stopped some people before. So there's this drop down that is playable and view only. And then there's one option in the middle that's like playable and then view only below. So if I take the top tier and then I just say put view only on the below, that's fine. As you might have guessed, the view only is you can only watch the league happen. you aren't able to play in it. Well, what happens if it's not in the database at all? The league is still happening, but there are even fewer players on the clubs, and the matches are just not simulating. You're not seeing like top goal scorer and league tables. You literally just see who won and that. So if you're playing in Europe, which the vast majority of people that are going to be playing here are, or watching this video, are probably going to be playing in Europe most of the time. Most of the game is in Europe, right? You'll want to have at least every top European league on view only, so that there is some sort of competition going on when it comes to the Champions League, Europa League, and the eventual arrival of the Euro 2, which comes into the game like 2 years in. Those teams are still playing. So what I will do, because I have a pretty good computer, is I'll have a lot of the leagues on playable, and then if the rest of them that I don't feel are relevant on view only. And the reason I would put all of them on playable, even though I'm not necessarily going to manage there, is that playable teams produce more players. They have more players. So playable teams got a full staff. It's got a full squad. It's got a full, you understand? It's completely full. A view only team is watered down. It's like the first 18, the best couple of coaches. It's not everybody. You just don't need that in Hong Kong unless you want to play in Hong Kong. Be my guest. That's part of the allure of Football Manager. You can be a legend of Hong Kongese football, but you probably don't need it otherwise. You could probably just not have it here. Now, I've gone out of my way and created a custom database, but what I would recommend you doing is just slapping this on large or medium. Small is really not a point, but large or medium is going to expand the database off of these leagues, so that even if I do not put England as playable, right, I literally just leave England, I just boom, take it off right there, which you should never do, right? You should never do that with Brazil, Argentina, England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal. You should always have those leagues in the game, at least view only, even if you're on a small computer. Even if I don't have England in the game, though, Marcus Rashford is still going to be in the game because I have a large database that's going to keep keep the players that are relevant. The last thing of concern in here is your start date, which I would suggest just find the country that you're starting in and go early preseason, and that's it. But you're thinking, Zealand, I haven't picked a team yet. Well, that is true. So let me set up, I will load the game setup, the beefcake, and then we'll go find a team to manage. You don't need to tick anything down here unless you want to. So I won't go through it. And that's the only time you have to dig in to information like that. I promise. This part is going to take a while. Whether you get a supercomputer or not, setting up the database is going to take a while. Find some light reading. Or you can just follow me on Instagram, because I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to give away, right? I am trying to give away a free copy of Football Manager 21 in a competition to one of 4 people in my Instagram DMs. I've DM'd like 15 people. Right? Just random followers. I just pick them out. I DM them. I don't know if they think it's a joke. I don't know if they think I'm trolling them. I have no idea. Vast majority read and do not respond to it. I'm just like, hey, you want to try and win FM21 in a little competition for video? And they're just like, this guy. So you still have a chance to get in on that.
1 week later.
It's done. Okay. So once you've created a manager, you're gonna end up on a screen like this one. You can select that manager, and there's some like preset parts to it that you probably added in. You had no idea what they meant. Well, you're gonna be able to mess with that stuff again later. Now we have to pick your team. Now, what I want you to notice, there are 3 options up here. You can be a single team, both clubs, both a club manager and an international manager, and then you can start unemployed. My recommendation here is pick a single team. It's your first time really playing Football Manager. You're going to want to pick a good team in a bad league. This gives you the most leeway to kind of learn how to play the game. One of my big recommendations is Croatia and then Dynamo Zagreb. They have a ton of high potential young Croatian players. They're already the best team in the league, and it should just be a fun save to get you into it. A lot of information here, and then you have your club culture down there. Nice. And then you go to your coaching style. Now, this is the coaching badge and playing experience I was talking about. Typically, I will say just check this box, and it will match your playing experience and your coaching badge to what the game thinks would be average and appropriate for the club that you are going to be taking over. If you have no idea what coaching badges are, as I didn't before I got Football Manager, it's an accreditation from the higher powers of the soccer footballing world that you are a good coach. It's like basically going to school to be a coach. And the better badge you have, the more school you've gone to be a coach. So you see how the attributes, they go up or they go down here. I don't typically switch the attributes around, and we're going to talk about attributes later, but you should rest assured that if I go into a save and just leave them as they are to keep a nice balanced feel of the save, then you could probably do that too. But once you have these ticked, selected, you are ready to hit confirm, and you are ready to, that's right, actually start playing the game. Well, not actually. You end up in a meeting room where you discuss with the board that has just signed you what you are going to be doing. And anytime you sign at a club, you're going to go through an experience like this. You get a club background, you get trophies. Here's the general manager. This is our media expectation. Awesome. You just keep hitting next. Here's the team. I just typically skip right through this because you're going to be able to look at the team whenever you want. Once you actually get into the save, what's the point of looking at it now? And then you have your club culture. This is where things get important and you need to pay attention. The club culture are the things like you can't just play a direct game at Barcelona, a hoof it and play D. You couldn't take Atletico Madrid style and play at Barcelona and have the board and fans be happy. That is the original idea behind club culture. So at Dynamo Zagreb, you're to develop players using the club's youth system, play attacking soccer, and then sign high reputation players. There's different importances assigned to those, and you will be able to negotiate when you look to sign new contracts. Right now, we are not able to negotiate. Then you have your ongoing, your like 5-year plan. So if you're in one of the lower leagues, this will have a promotion in there and stuff. This is going to guide what you need to do in order to keep your job, which is the number one goal of a manager, right? Maintain the club status as the most reputable team in Croatia, have the best youth academy in Croatia, and work within the payroll budget, which is required. So pay attention to that. If you go over the payroll budget, there will be hell to pay, it would seem. And then at the end of this season, you are to win the league, win the cup. They don't care about the Super Cup, and reach the group stage of the Champions League. So again, you are the best team in Croatia. This is all well within your reach. And if you're able to stay within the club culture, even failing one or two of these is not going to be fatal for your job, which is some consolation. It's always something that you are going to want to stay aware of, and it will be available in the club vision section on the game. You can also take an induction, which is essentially what this video series is, with a bunch of extra helpful tips and such. And then you would just leave all of these on yes, because why not? Unless you really hate the general manager, then yeah. You hit confirm, it'll ask you to save the game, and we'll just say football manager for beginners. And we'll create that save game. And now we're ready to play. We'll be looking through different sections and doing focuses on the different sections in upcoming Football Manager for Beginners. So let me know how you enjoyed this video in the comments section, in the Discord, wherever you want to hit me up. If you feel like you're going to keep up with Football Manager for Beginners, then please subscribe to the channel. Just make it easier for you. And it helps me get this like cool plaque thing, which I think gets me into the cool kid parties. So I'd really appreciate that. All right, I'll see you in stream. Bye.